Bernard Tobin here today at the Dead Weeds Tour. Joining Bear, and joining us now is Scott Ditchin from Bear. Hey, how's it going?
It's going really good.
Awesome. Now, you're standing in front of a drone.
Yep.
That begs many questions. I want you to talk about what you guys here at Bear are doing with drones. You've got a partnership with Precision Silver. Tell me about this drone and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, so I'm a field development rep here at this research station, and I look at seed treatments and foliar fungicides in corn and soybeans. And so with the drone technology, Precision Silver has presented some software that can supplement or correlate with what human ratings are doing. So typically when I conduct research, I send my students or myself in to take visual ratings at certain periods over the experimental time frame, and this drone can basically take the human input out of those trials. And so this drone specifically can take stand counts of corn, biomass index ratings, NDVI ratings, height measurements, volume measurements of canopies. So it can go through a small 1 acre field in about 5 minutes and take 6 measurements, where it would take 2 of my students to do that in about an hour and only taking 1 measurement. So it is allowing us to take a lot more data and doing it at a fraction of the time.
Hey, tell me about this drone. You know, you've got a big Nikon camera on the front. Tell me about how you run this and what type of data it can punch up for you.
Yeah, so this drone, it's sent to us like this by Precision Silver. It's built on a DJI S1000 frame, and then Precision Silver outfits it with some hardware and components to help with their analysis. So the top here is Precision Silver brains of the unit with some GPS and the software that run everything. The bottom here we have a Nikon camera with a very high resolution lens, and a MicaSense camera that takes the NDVI measurements, as well as a small first-person view camera, just so that the operator can see what the drone is pointed at. So the Nikon camera takes 3 pictures per second at this very high resolution rate, and after the flight we can send that imagery down to Precision Silver, and what they do is they stitch the pictures together in what they call a mosaic, and from that mosaic you can now, because it's very high resolution, you can now zoom in onto that picture at a very high resolution down to the blade of grass if you wanted to. And then from there we actually take, we set out these markers at the beginning of the season, and they mark the GPS points where we want the drone to fly over, but then Precision Silver uses those points, those same markers, to overlay the plot map on top of the imagery. So we can repeatedly fly the drone and take measurements across the season, and they can repeatedly place the same wireframe model plot map on top of the imagery and take all those measurements down on a plot by plot basis.
Now, I think we talked off camera and you said, you know, this thing runs about 30 grand. And, you know, from a farmer perspective, no, not everybody's going to go run out and buy this. But you talked about the fact that, hey, you know, the fact that we're using it, you being Bear, you're bringing, you know, that value and, you know, basically putting it to work to farmers. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we definitely don't expect a grower or a farmer to go out and spend their money on one of these. The point of this is to, you know, there's lots of drones out there, and I think drones applying to agricultural research has always been an application of interest, and it's kind of parallel to that is using drones to help us conduct research more efficiently. And so we definitely don't expect a grower to go out and buy one of these, because it's tailored more towards the researcher, where they can, again, reduce their human error, increase their efficiency by going out and rating on a plot by plot basis, and making, you know, their trial capacity will increase if their effort decreases. So the advantage to the grower down the line is kind of the results of those trials, or the increased trial capacity. If we can standardize and the evaluations of the drone, then we get more accurate results. If we increase the efficiency, we can conduct more trials and provide more answers to growers. A big example I can think of is, we do some variety testing for product variety interactions. Sometimes it's not done anymore. Like there's metribuzin sensitivities to soybeans, and I don't think it's done that actively anymore. Whereas we could plant 20 varieties of soybeans, spray them all with metribuzin. This drone would be able to evaluate different height variations or volume, canopy volume, biomass variations in those plots and identify some varieties that could have a sensitivity to that product. And so because we're increasing the efficiency by, a factor of 10, we could in theory do 10 times more varieties or 10 times more repeated trials across different soil types, which would be really important for a product like metribuzin, which is also impacted by soil conditions and soil type.
And last thing you mentioned in your presentation was, all the data. It's 10 times, more productive and more effective. But how do we get that data in? And you mentioned, working with PMRA to get them to accept data. Is that one of the final hurdles where, you can, at that point, you can really put the drones to work?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a hurdle. We would say we're always in cooperation with PMRA to try and accept new technologies. Definitely not a hurdle because they're very open to the idea, but they want to see that correlation that the drone is actually accurate in the data it is taking. So that's what we're doing this year, our first year with the drone. Every visual rating that me and my students go out and do, we're also trying to send the drone up at the same time so that we have that correlation of a in-person visual rating and a drone rating, and we can provide PMRA with that correlation curve. And then my colleague in Ottawa says that they are definitely open to the idea of accepting some drone data in the future to start as a supplemental to the human data, but not drone data exclusively just yet.
Yeah, so we'll get there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey Scott, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.